Hello, this is Donna from Mystique Easy Crafts, and this is going to be my very first video on YouTube, so we'll see how this works out. But I wanted to do a little resin project, and so I went and did all my research and bought a bunch of supplies, and now I'm ready to make a bottle opener, and we'll see how this goes. First off, I was anxious before I got some more resin to get something, so I got the Mod Podge resin at Walmart. It's a 1-to-2 mix. Then I've got my molds here. Here's the resin right here. And then I've got my trusty sticks I'm going to use to stir it with. And I got those sticks in a package like this of all these cups. And in here there's this is, I believe, 2 ounces. This is 1 ounce, and there's 25 each of them. And then I got 50 of the stirring sticks. So that was kind of a fun little thing to buy, and I'll put links to all of this stuff and where I got them later on, down in the bottom of the video. And then, even more fun, I got this with a huge selection of items in that package. I got all these little glitters and little shapes and stars and things like that to play with. And it came also with all these molds. This is a bunch of smaller molds right here, tiny molds. This one in here, when I get it out, will be some, I guess you could use them for like necklace to put on a pendant. And then, of course, this one, small one. And then you get all these little pins to put in them. You get a little screwdriver thing to put a hole in the resin. You get, like, here's a bangle right here. More little things you can use for pendants, I guess. I'm not sure what else I would use it for. These little teddy bears. There's a little cup and a little, I guess it'll be a little ball. But what I'm excited about, besides these spoons, is I actually get these little pipettes so I can squeeze stuff really small in there if I need to do that. And I think that's it. So first off, I went and got just regular plastic containers at Walmart. I had 3 together with it. I'm going to mix this up. This one is 10 ounces. And I think I'm going to start with, maybe I'll start with 4 ounces and see if that will fit one of these. That's all I'm really trying to do today, because I don't know what I'm doing, obviously. Oh, some more things that were fun that I got was all this mica powder. And you see it's a batch of a bunch of different ones. And then I also got a package of dyes, which I don't have in front of me, but that'll be fun to work with too. I chose the mica powders because I heard that they are have more glittery, more shiny effect, and that's kind of what I want to do. So today I chose a green and a blue, and I'm also going to use maybe some of this. They're Pebbles more than sand. I thought I was actually getting more like sand, but they're actually very small pebbles, which I think they're very pretty. So I'm anxious to use that. And also there's these, I got these cute looking little, they look clear, and that's really was my intent. They actually glow in the dark, but I don't know if they will once they put in resin. That's not really why I bought them. I wanted them because I like the little clear pebble look, so I might try some of that. And here's the dye that I was talking about that I got. I think there's 12 in here. I think there's 25 of the Mica Powders. So I think it's time now that I can start mixing the resin. I chose to use these 2-ounce cups, and then I'm going to mix them together and put them in the container with the 4 ounces. So we'll put, here we go, 2 ounces in this one. Boy, does it thick. I don't know if they're all the same. Like I said, I'm getting ready to get a more of a, I guess it's more like industrial grade. It's for art, but they use it, their other mix, they use it to do countertops and things like that. I'm trying to get something that I think won't yellow as much over time. I don't really know what that is. But this being a cheaper resin, I'm expecting it to maybe yellow, which is one of the reasons why I'm using the blue dye to go in it. Let's see, I'm not quite there. All right, this one. Oh wow, this really pours easily. I'm kind of moving it around. I guess only I can see it because the lighting. I have to make sure that I'm getting it to the correct measurement. One thing that I could have done to have gotten the measurement is I could have put water in those molds and empty that out, and then use that to help me determine how much resin that I needed. But I got kind of lazy, and I figured I could fill up some of this other one if I didn't. I also want to tell you before I forget, I've got this mat also that came with a heater on the bottom. If you can see what I'm putting this on. And then I can't unplug it, but it's got where you can use three different types of heat, and it's got 2 hour, 4 hour, and 6 hour. And according to the reviews, a lot of people are saying that they're actually able to get everything hardened in 6 hours. So we'll see. Haven't turned it on yet. I think I'll turn it on when I get ready to pour. Okay, let me get my stick. I want to get everything out because, like I said, I was measuring them in separate cups. So I want to make sure that I get the measurements. And it is going up to 2 ounces, so that's good. Get a little bit more out. And then here's the 2-part. I said earlier in the video that it was a 1 to 2, but it's not. It's a 1-to-1 mix. Okay, so that goes up to 4 ounces, so that's great. It says different places to stir this for several minutes, so that's what I'm going to do. And then I'll come back after stirring it. I think I'm going to stir it for at least 3 minutes, and we'll see how it looks. Okay, so I've mixed up all the resin, and unfortunately there are tiny, tiny bubbles in it. And I went to, I guess, research what I'd done wrong, and a couple of issues can cause this. One is that the room is too cool, and this room is between 68 and 70 degrees, so that's much cooler than what you want to do when you're mixing resin. I don't know how I can mix it real warm because I get too hot, but anyway, accordingly, putting some mica might actually help this. So I'm going to go ahead and go forward. I waited a while to see if maybe the bubbles would disappear, and then one of them is much clearer than the other one for some reason. I did stir the mixture very slowly and I did it for 4 minutes. Maybe I overdid it. That's another thing that I read that can cause this to happen. So let's just carry forward. I told you this is my first video, my first resin, so I guess I can't expect it to be perfect. If anybody watches this who is a pro and experienced in resin, you can please give me your thoughts on that. So now, another scary part for me is putting the powder in this. Should have torn this off in advance, but also between one of the breaks, I ran and got my gloves on. I searched everywhere and thought I was going to have to do it without them, but I finally found them at the last minute. So always wear gloves. I've also invested in a respirator that hasn't gotten here yet. And I'm going to use that because if you do this very often, you do need to wear a respirator. All right, I may have put too much in there. That last squirt was a lot. But I kind of want it dark anyway, so. No, it's not real dark. I haven't stirred them all in yet, but it's not super dark. But it is dark. Maybe I lied. I don't see any of the bubbles either. So I don't know if it helped them disappear or if it just masked them or what. But I'll take what I can get. It is a little bit clear. I'm trying to decide if I want to put a little bit more in there. Especially when I take my thing out and I look at it, you see? But it's got a pretty little shiny spot in the middle, which I really like. Well, my problem is I tend to want to be too much of a perfectionist, and that can not be a good thing. Because we aren't perfect. We got to make mistakes, especially the first time doing something. And I put this off and put this off for a long time. I've been wanting to do this. So finally I got the nerve to try it. Okay, here is a beautiful green. It's kind of a iridescent green. And I don't care when I use the same pipette. You can't really do anything but just mix it, right? Oops, I accidentally dipped it in some resin that time. Let's see. It's still, yeah, I think when I dipped it in that resin, I got it where it won't come out as much. So let's try the dangerous way of doing it, huh? Okay. This is a beautiful color. And there's actually very little bubbles that I'm seeing. All right, we're about ready to pour. I turned this mat on high and I just set it for 6 hours because you have to set some option. I want to pour this in the bottom part. Actually, I could have. Man, I mixed up way too much. Another rookie mistake. But look, we have all this. All right. Now, let's try some of this stuff right here. Oh, good. Didn't have to tear it. I hate to waste anything. One thing I did too before I started is I put a level on this table to find the spot where it was going to be pretty level. Now the next thing we want to try, and this I don't have, unfortunately, the little flap like that did for me to open. So I'm going to cut it off at the corner. And I really just want to sprinkle this. I don't want it to be as heavily concentrated as the other. And while I wait for that, I'm going to pour another one. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to top this one off again. Okay. Now, what should I do? Obviously, I need to use these two colors. For some reason, they're spilling out of the containers. Trusty hand, little wet wipes, little baby wipes. So let's Do this one. It's such a pretty color all by itself. So I think I'm going to leave that one just like it is. This mat is kind of warm. It's not overly warm. Let's see. And then I'm going to sprinkle some more of these. Now I'm going to come back and I'm going to top this one off again, so I don't really know how much resin I've got. Purple green on this one. Just barely put a little bit of blue. Now I'm going to top this off. Hopefully I have enough. And that was almost perfect. Again, I used a total of 4 ounces. I'm going to get my gun. All right. Now, one thing that I didn't tell you about with this mat is it's actually got a cover for it. I wonder if I could. I want to try using the rest of this in this mold right here. Might as well not let any of it go to waste, huh? Okay. So the cool thing about this mat is it actually has a top that goes with it. I'll take my gloves off. I know this is rectangle, but for some reason the top is square. I don't know why, but it'll cover this, so I don't really care. Here it is. I'll make sure I have these. Well, that's what happens when you have cats. I just unpacked this, so it's still trying to fold up on me, but that covered everything. So I'm going to come back in 6 hours just to see what happens. And then if that's not good enough, I'll come back and do more than that. So thank you for watching this so far. I'll be back. Okay, so it's, I was going to come back at 6 hours, but it really wasn't a convenient time for me to film. But they did appear to be hard to the touch. So now it's the next morning, or the next afternoon actually. So I didn't have the heater on after the 6 hours. So I've just been letting it sit because it's now been like 21 hours, something like that. But I wanted to have it on camera when I demolded them. So this one, some of the crystals came to the surface, which is fine. No problem with that. That's part of the decoration. This is my first demolding ever. Looks like some of the crystals came over to the edge there. Well, that one was a little hard to get on the edge there. I thought it was going to break the mold, actually. It is a little rough to the touch, so I guess I'll sand that up before I put the hardware in. Here's the next one. Came out really easily. Again, just, you know, you can just feel it around here. It probably wouldn't be necessary, but I think I am going to sand it. And then the last one, I picked this for last because again, one of the reasons I decided to film my very first resin project was because I wanted, you know, to see what mistakes I would make, because that would be something that maybe a newbie would make. And one of the mistakes I made is not cleaning this bit off right here on the edge. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm going to have to cut that off, make it even. Hopefully I won't screw it up when I do that. I can probably do it from this side. But it's pretty. It's got like a little blue streak down in the middle. And it's mainly just picked up the green, because I did put a little bit of blue with this, so it probably just blended in with it. And then I had a piece left, a little bit of the resin left over. So I put it in this little piece here, which is pretty. I can, it's pretty thick actually. I was thinking about putting a jump ring in there, but it's got to be a big jump ring. to get it through there. And probably one of my videos, I've got over 20 plus years or more making jewelry and selling jewelry, selling supplies even. So I think I'm going to have a short video on the proper way to open and close junk rings, because that's a simple thing. It doesn't take long to learn, to show, but if you don't know how to do it, then you can distort them very easily, and it's not intuitive to think about, you know, moving them to the side instead of pulling them apart, that kind of thing. So that's probably going to be a video I'm going to do. But anyhow, that's what they look like. I think for my first time, I'm pretty pleased with how they turned out. Hopefully I can get this edge one here worked out. So after I get the hardware on and clean them up a little bit, then I'll come up and show you what the final product looks like. Okay, here we go. I have to put all the hardware on here. There we go. This one looked up pretty because it had all the little rocks at the bottom. And then the clear little pebbles in the top. You can see I put my name and my the date on the back. And then here's the one that I had to carve off the piece that was overflowing. And what I should have said is, when I noticed it was overflowing, is I should have cleaned it off then instead of waiting. But I was able to use a utility knife and cut it and sand it, and it turned out okay. So there we go. I did the same thing with the little charm. I'm probably going to make this into some kind of charm or something. We'll see. But thank you very much for watching. And if you will subscribe, you'll maybe be my first subscriber. And we'll keep on going from here. Thank you very much.